So if you blinked, you missed it. But Biden did reference China last night after your government sat back with the popcorn and watched a surveillance balloon gather information on our military bases for something like a week. Then decided to destroy the balloon after it had clearly finished its mission and was probably about to self-destruct anyway. And after all that, Biden had the gall to say this last night.
I'm committed to work with China where we can advance American interests and benefit the world. But make no mistake about it. As we made clear last week, if China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country, and we did.
Yeah, you really lit him up. Rick Grenell joins us now to talk about this. Your reaction to that claim?
Look, Joe Biden said some really weird things last night. He had this angry moment where he was saying something about President Xi and other world leaders switching places with him. I listened to the words and read the words like 6 times today. I have no idea what he was saying still. Then he goes out and tries to, slam his fist on the desk to say, if our sovereignty is ever violated by China, we will act. Well, look, here is the fact. Our sovereignty was totally pushed through by a Chinese balloon. The violations were clear. I mean, you saw that this balloon, which was a spy balloon, entered our atmosphere. The Department of Defense, the intelligence agencies all knew it. They knew it for days. Our Secretary of State was planning on going to Beijing to have a meeting, and he knew it, and nothing was done. It only so happened that when the newspaper in Montana captured a picture of this balloon in the sky and then started asking questions, people were like, wait a minute, what is this? And then we found out what it was. And then our government started to react only days later. And then the story changed. And then they tried to say that they were going to brief the Trump administration because we needed to rewrite history to tell the Trump officials how they missed it because this balloon came into the do you believe space under the Trump administration? And it's no.
Do you believe that? I mean, do you think that they knew it came? Do you think it came across? Do you think it happened under Donald Trump? Do you not think it happened?
I do not think it happened under Donald Trump. Okay. First of all, let's be clear, not a single national security official in the Trump administration will say that this happened. We all say we were never briefed on it. So if the Biden team has some bureaucrats that knew that it happened and didn't share it with political appointees, I think that they should take those bureaucrats and they should turn them over to the Department of Justice because they should be prosecuted for treason. But I don't think that they'll do that because I don't think these people exist. I think the story has scrambled. I think they were caught just giving excuses. And let's be clear about one other thing. They usually get away with it. The media usually does a collective yawn whenever they try to spin their way out of something and they don't get caught. Well, this time I think it was so obvious. The reaction was so strong they got caught.
We're almost a year into the Ukraine war. Zelensky meeting with EU leaders tomorrow. Russia promising a response if the UK sends fighter jets to Ukraine. I know that you're always talking diplomacy on this. You don't see the West as working nearly hard enough to end this war diplomatically, almost as if they want this war to continue on. What are your thoughts as we get close to a year of a war in Ukraine?
Look, I think that the really active pro-war crowd in Washington, D.C., has got Joe Biden's ears. We are very prepared for war. There's lots of defense contractors ready to supply. War is inevitable. War is fast. We've been talking about all of this. We keep supplying more war products. I think we've got the war side covered. What we don't have covered is the diplomacy side. If you're going to be a good president of the United States, you want to be able to have a strong Department of Defense, but you also need a really strong State Department. You need diplomats who are actually really good at pushing and diplomats that are loud and diplomats that probably are too loud and makes Washington, D.C. uncomfortable sometimes. But the reality is I don't see strong diplomacy from the Biden team. There's no options. There's nobody flying in and saying, let's talk. Where is Anthony Blinken, our Secretary of State? Why isn't he on his own plane? He's got his own plane. He can board his own plane and he can fly to Ukraine and he can gather foreign ministers and ideas. No one is saying that there needs to be a weak diplomatic solution. You can have strong diplomacy, but I don't see anyone talking about an idea of peacefully solving this problem. It just seems to be war all the time.
Yeah.
And I know if Donald Trump was the president, he would have immediately had the parties at the table hammering out an agreement, and it would have been an agreement that everybody loved and everybody hated.
Yeah. That's interesting. There's not a lot of interest in ending it, is what it feels like, because if there was, they'd be working on it. I think that's very obvious. They have all the resources they need. Rick, good to see you. Thank you so much.